Watch the headbutts and elbows. No rabbit punches, no low blows. This will not be a clean fight, so protect yourself at all times. The underdogs are coming for the throne. This is the B-Sides Boxing Podcast.
That's enough. All right, recording is going. Presentation, you can see the doc fine?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Well, it's just a two-piece today. Welcome, beloved listeners, to B-Sides Boxing. Drip is... What? Where did he say he was going? Like a convention or something? For watches. That's what he's doing. He's at a watch convention.
Watches?
Yes.
That is an expensive hobby.
It is. It is a very expensive hobby. I just looked at entry level, what aficionados consider entry level, and that way out of my price range. So, no,
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't even wear them anyway.
I have a Fitbit, and that's the first watch I've owned.
We're without Drip, so it's just Shanada and I. I'm Leo. We're gonna get into the news real quick. This was announced like maybe a week and a half ago or something, but Benavidez versus Benavidez-Andrade. It's set to go November 25th. It's going to be in Vegas, if I recall correctly. Looks Andre's finally got to fight somebody that actually matters. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, it's been a while.
He's always been the dark horse that a lot of people like to point at, like hipster's choice when thinking about whatever division he was in, 154, 160. He was always that like hipster's choice of who is who in this division.
I think Benavidez is gonna beat him, but it should be a good fight.
I don't know if I rate Andre's chances that well. His competition has not been very good, and he has struggled before, and he's only gotten older, and Benavidez he's not called the monster for nothing. So I'm not expecting Andre to see the final bell, to be honest with you. Do you think he goes the distance?
I don't think he goes the distance, but I think until he gets clocked, it'll be fun to watch. I think it'll take a while before Benavidez lands that big punch.
Yeah, it's gonna take him some time. Like, he had a little bit of difficulty with Caleb Plant in the beginning, so I am expecting that. But once he starts slowing down, probably in the mid-lates, and then it's over.
Yeah.
Still, finally Andre's doing something, and Benavidez is getting another good challenge. Moving along, Inoue is back. Quick turnaround. The writing was on the wall. Like, they brought in Inoue-Tapales after rest in peace. I'm doing the little Catholic fucking hand gesture for Stephen Fulton. Inoue, Tapales was there in the crowd. He came into the ring. It was obvious, and here we are. It's going to be December 26th. The undisputed super bantamweight championship is on the line.
I am so excited. It's my Christmas present. I am going to this fight. I am going to watch it live.
Hell yeah. That's a good one. I can't imagine. I really hope that the crowd is lively, because I know that the culture there is different, and they recently removed the rules of not cheering during the fighting.
Yeah, and I do think that they intentionally set it up differently so it sounds quieter on the broadcast. I think the Americans have like crowd noise mics and things, and the Japanese don't.
Yeah, you're probably right. There are definitely microphones that are picking up sound in the arena.
Like, I think in person it's a lot more lively in Japan than it seems like it is on TV.
So, because it looks like it's just dead quiet. Like, nobody's talking until the rounds end.
I was kind of expecting this to be on the big New Year's Eve
Same.
boxing card, but I'm glad it isn't. I'm glad it gets its own night. The New Year's Eve one, I don't think I'll be able to get tickets for as well. So
The festival thing that they do for, I think they do the 30th and the 31st. Just stacked cards. As far as like Japanese fighters go, but they always have a lot going on. Oh.
Yeah, and they usually have exhibition matches and that sort of thing as well.
Oh, that's fun.
Huh. Yeah.
In a way, could have. That would have been a good move if they had any prospects that they wanted to really get some spotlight on, just to have them on the same card as him. But they could just put them on the 26th, I suppose.
I mean, it's not going to change their training camp much.
No.
So.
Tapales, like, barely earned his shot here, so I'm not. And even still, if MJ had beaten Akhmadaliev, had beaten Tapales, it wouldn't be. I'm not expecting a very different outcome. Brutality from start to finish.
Yeah, I think the question is, does Inoue knock him out with an actual knockout or a liver shot KO?
Oh, I would. Man, I would love that. Body shot knockouts or body shot stoppages.
They're my favorite.
They're the best. Oh goodness,
absolutely love them.
Even though I have a little bit of like sympathy pain in my sides when I see them, I don't care. It's rest in peace, your kidneys.
Long term, probably better for the guy getting knocked out as well.
Yeah, probably. All right, let's get into our recaps. We are going from October 8th to yesterday, October 21st. Well, yesterday for me. And we start with one that you brought to our attention. On Thursday, October 12th, Jonriel Casimero had a technical draw versus Yukinori Oguni. This was a 10-round fight at 122. I was only able to see highlights, so I can't really speak to the whole fight, but him calling out the winner of Inoue-Tapales, if that's the performance that we're going to be basing how would he do against that winner, man, just go home.
Yeah, he did not look good, and my understanding is Ogumi is semi-retired. He was... It only went 3 full rounds, but he definitely won at least one of those rounds, and it looked like he was gonna take Casimero into deep water for sure.
Yeah, it was a competitive fight, and if he's semi-retired, tail end of his career, like up there in years, like you have no chance, buddy. It's not nothing personal. It's just you don't have a chance. Maybe against Tapales, but.
Yeah, maybe. I don't want Casimero to get a payday, but I also want Inoue to end his career, so...
Yes.
Who knows?
Same. The alleged diddler should, I don't want him to get paid either, but, God, a liver shot stoppage for him would be fantastic.
Yeah, with something happening in the, lead-up that takes away half his money or something... would be an ideal outcome.
Treasure Boxing is, I don't know, boxing promotion is different in Japan. If I'm not mistaken, they don't have a version of the Ali Act like we have in the US where management and promotion is separate. A lot of times we see their head coaches being their managers for the fighter. But here, it's like whatever gym you're associated with, that they do everything. The head coach he's your head coach, he's your manager, and he's the promotion as well.
Yeah, and from the couple fights I've tried to buy tickets from, that's who's actually selling the tickets as well. Unless you can go to the box office and pick it up, you email them, transfer them money, and then they mail you a ticket.
That's a lot of trust.
Yeah, actually, I even got a refund because they said the seats at the price I wanted to pay wasn't actually as good as the cheaper seats. So they sent me the cheaper seat and cash with the ticket.
The difference between the prices?
Yeah,
Oh,
2,000 yen.
That is
Yeah,
so cool.
It was great.
So yeah, this treasure boxing thing is kind of weird. I don't know, maybe that's Casimiro's thing, but
Yeah, I'm also not sure why he was fighting in Japan either, but
maybe they don't have an extradition treaty with the U.S. like Philippines.
maybe.
I don't know if that's what's actually going on. Let's just for the laughs, everybody. Let's keep going here. On October 14th, had a few cards. Let's start with this one really quick. The motherfucking Misfits. Influencers, YouTubers, whatever you want to call them. So there were two. The one mentioning quickly, Tommy Fury got the UD over KSI. Fantastic. Hopefully KSI calls it quits from here. Or, I don't know, keep doing the clown shows, I guess. But, like, quit trying to pretend like you're an actual boxer.
Yeah, I don't really watch the train wreck that is influencer boxing.
I've only seen Tommy Fury. His two. I admit I did watch some Jake Paul stuff because it was fun. It's for the memes, but this was ridiculous. And the one that I wanted to talk about the most, which isn't a lot anyway, is the Dylan Dennis disqualification. So the dude didn't do anything for all 6 rounds. Logan Paul was just kind of peppering him with stuff, trying to get something going. And at the end, Dylan Dennis got Logan Paul in a headlock and then tried to take him down with the headlock. And Logan Paul gets him off, and then he starts punching him while he's on the ground, or trying to punch him while Dylan Dennis is on the ground. And that was the end of the fight. Like, the security, a lot of security jumped into the ring and broke it up.
Ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. And just the round before, Dylan Dennis tried to do like a takedown, like a wrestling style takedown. It was really dumb. Less important was in Rosenberg, Texas. Top Rank put on a middleweight unification fight. From the bottom up, Richard Torres gets a stoppage in 2 over Tyrell Herndon. 6-round heavyweights. Torres still doing his thing. Keyshawn Davis gets a majority decision over Nahir Albright. 10-round lightweights. It seems that Davis's shine is starting to, I don't know, you're starting to see through it a little bit as the competition gets stiffer.
Yeah, I wasn't very impressed with him in that fight.
I like him too. I like Keyshawn a lot. I really want him to do well, but yeah, it's not looking good.
I mean, Albright isn't just some bum.
Exactly.
But I think Davis should have looked better against him.
Yes. That's what I expect the point was, is that he's not a bum, but he's not exactly somebody that people know about, even regionally, maybe regionally at best, but yeah, this should have been a lot better from Keyshawn. Let's get to the main event. Johnny Beck, God, I can't remember how they were pronouncing it on the broadcast, so I'm just going with Johnny Beck. Stops Vincenzo Gualtieri in 6. They unified their IBF and WBO titles. Vincenzo didn't really seem too interested in engaging. Johnny Beck was just working him.
This one went exactly how I thought it was going to.
Pretty much.
Yeah, as soon as Vincenzo felt how hard Johnny Beck hits, he started trying to survive and not trying to win.
Yeah. And very little good that did him anyway. I would think... So I was saying last time, how would Elijah Garcia do against one of these two? Like, Johnny Beck, still out of reach, but Vincenzo, did not see anything that's worth keeping him in the conversation of of the highest levels.
No, I agree. I think he kind of lucked into a belt and he's not going to get it back.
Pretty much. So that leaves Erislandy Lara, who is fighting Danny Garcia, strangely, for the WB.
Danny Garcia's still fighting?
Yes.
I thought he retired.
No, but he might as well be, because like as he's moving into these higher and higher divisions. I'm assuming because he doesn't want to cut weight for like what he used to fight at.
Yeah, like I follow him on Instagram and it's all just ads for his clothing line now.
Oh well.
Which is awesome, by the way. It's all like neon colored animal print. Love it.
Wow, I'm gonna have to take a look at that. So Erislandy Lara currently holds the WBA and Carlos Adames holds WBC. Janibek, I think I had thought that Carlos Adames was the only guy that was really worth anything as far as title holders went, but Janibek's not bad. He's pretty decent. He's better than decent. He's solid. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, I like him and I give him a chance against anyone. He might not beat everyone, but I think it'll be worth watching.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. He'll be competitive with whoever. All right, now the one that mattered. In Australia at the Gold Coast Convention Centre in Broadbeach, Queensland. Tim Tszyu, he was the interim champion for the WBO junior middleweight. He got elevated, and he fought ranked 2 Brian Mendoza. First thing, really quick, Sam Goodman was the guy that Ruby had mentioned to pay attention to, and like he was okay. He was very technically sound, but his power leaves a lot to be desired. Because
that fight was a lot of fun to watch, though.
Yes. That's the only thing. Like, if I had to find something to make a critical point on, it would just be that the power is lacking. But still, he's very technically sound. Very, very good. Smart with, like, ring generalship is good. His punch placement and punch selection are great. Yeah, he definitely knows what he's doing. No shit.
Yeah, but he's also pretty active. I want to be entertained when I watch boxing, and I don't like the very selective punchers. I like that he's good and he's technical, but he has good output as well.
Yeah, the output might be making up for the lack of power. But yes, we will be watching his career with great interest. Tim Tszyu gets the UD over Brian Mendoza. It's not often that I throw this one out. I try to be selective with when I use this phrase, but this was Brian Mendoza had victory in defeat. He won the narrative of the evening. He might have lost. He might have been very clearly getting outpointed, outshot, outpowered, out everything. But his toughness, his ruggedness, his tenacity is what I think won the night. That to me stole my heart. As much as Tim Tszyu was looking fucking awesome, he just had his way with everything. Like Mendoza couldn't really stop him from doing anything, and that's really good to see. He's definitely a deserving champion, but I liked Mendoza's heart the most, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Mendoza never stopped trying to win, which is hard when you're getting outpointed that badly.
Right, like Vincenzo fucking gave up. Completely gave up.
Almost instantly. Like, I think it was about the end of the first round, Vincenzo decided he wasn't going to win. But Mendoza always had, like, it seemed like he believed he could turn it around and get a KO.
Just the one big punch. If I just get this one big punch to get him dizzy, and then I can jump on him, and maybe something will happen from there. But yeah, he never gave up. And that was incredible to see. I am going to continue watching Brian Mendoza. I don't know, however long he keeps fighting. Tim Tszyu on to bigger and better things, of course. He's calling out Charlo naturally. That's the only other. That's the biggest fight that you can make, but there's still a lot of other options that are out there. I have listed here Josh Kelly and Xander Zayas. Those are the top contenders for his belt. But there's other big names that are, in his promotion stable. Charlo, obviously, Brian Castano, Jesus Ramos, who absolutely did not lose, Erickson Lubin, who absolutely did not win, but is nonetheless, he's still game. For Sebastian Fundora.
I think Tim Tszyu is competitive or beats everyone.
Yeah, I would rate him over pretty much everyone. Castano is the one I would, other than Charlo, Castano is the only one I'd give a solid chance.
Yeah, I think Tim Tszyu has a really good run at the top of this division for sure.
Then he moves up and fights Schonnebeck.
I don't know. Tszyu might be able to move up. He looks pretty big at this weight.
Yeah, he could put on a little more muscle, if nothing else. I think he'd be fine moving up. That might be his limit, though. I think 160 might be the ceiling.
Yeah, he's not super big. That's for sure.
Let's keep it going. Unless you have anything more, just any more praises to sing for Tim.
No, I just kind of felt bad that we were talking so much about Mendoza, even though Tszyu looked so good.
Yeah, I know it. I don't know why that stood out to me more. Despite I keep using the caveat. Despite how awesome Tim Tszyu was, he was incredible. It was really amazing to watch. He's a very talented athlete, very talented boxer. There's nobody's denying that. I don't know. The scrappy underdog story was. I think that might be why.
Yeah. Well, and the big upset against Fundora.
Yeah. That actually, the scrappy underdog story, that reminded me of on the YouTuber card. That's how Logan Paul was fighting like Rocky at the beginning of the first movie when he's still a club fighter.
Yeah.
That's what he's like. He even kind of looks like him at a distance, now that I think on it. Let's keep going. Just a quick one. ProBox TV was on the 18th. I'm trying to remember which one of these. I think it's Darrell Valsaint versus Diego Ferreira. That was an enjoyable one. And there was another one that was really competitive before it was stopped. Kind of weird, but either way, my expert memory on this notwithstanding, definitely consider checking out ProBox TV. It's free on YouTube. Which I think has ads, and then if you pay, it's like $20 for the whole year. Not a bad deal at all. At least two cards a month.
I didn't know it was on YouTube. I just go to ProBoxTV.com.
Oh, it's free there too.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I didn't realize it was free until somebody said on the Discord, and so I've watched the last couple, and I'm really impressed with it. The fights are fun. I really like Chris Algieri as a commentator.
Same.
Paulie Malignaggi, not so much, but... And at ProBox TV, they also have, like, podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
And they have replays of all the fights you can watch.
They always put on competitive fights. Their moniker, or their motto is, like, we promote boxing, not boxers. Or we don't promote boxers, we promote boxing. So it's really cool. Every other week, at least every other week, they have an event, so definitely worth keeping an eye on. Scrappy fights, like these are the guys, the winners here. Well, can't say it anymore, but like these are going to be they would be the guys that go on to Showbox, who then go on to, like the title fights and stuff. But Showtime Sports, rest in peace.
Yeah, that leaves a little bit of a hole. I wonder who's going to fill it.
I know that Showtime Sports is folding altogether. Where they go, the chatter that I've heard is that they're going to go to Amazon Prime, or Prime Video, I guess. So there's that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's where I'll mention it in a moment. So real quick, yesterday, Jack Catterall, we were talking about this beforehand, he defeats Jorge Linares by unanimous decision. Catterall looked good. I'm of the camp that he beat Josh Taylor. Linares, for being 38, he looked really solid for his age, but it just wasn't enough, unfortunately. So handsome Jorge's on his way out. Oh, it's Jorge. Sorry.
Oh God, that everybody on the British broadcast was doing that Jorge, and Eddie Hearn knows how to say Jorge. I couldn't believe even he did it.
Yeah, because he does it all the time with with Mexican fighters. So, how you would think this is any different?
If you can't say somebody's name, just use their last name then.
Yeah, or I don't know, ask them for a nickname that they use or something.
Something. They could have called him the Samurai. That's way cooler
than Jorge.
Jorge.
So yeah, Linares came into this 3-fight skid, and so after he lost this one, he talked to his manager, which I assume is his wife, the boss, the ruler of all, and he's hanging it up. Makes sense. And was it you mentioning in Discord that Linares is in talks for broadcasting?
I didn't hear broadcasting, but he has said since in a couple interviews that he wants to either transition to coaching or promoting. I think Linares would make a good promoter or a good Spanish broadcast commentator. He's an intelligent, funny guy. Yeah,
he is. He could also work a little bit of Japanese, since that's when he left Venezuela, that's where he went.
Yeah, well, and I guess for this fight, he was in Japan training for a couple months. I heard rumors, but I never was able to figure out where exactly he was.
Yeah, I never learned where in Japan he would stay, but still.
Yeah.
Spanish language commentary would be great. He's intelligent himself, and he's obviously a good boxer, enough to get what was it? Four-time champion in 3 divisions or something.
Yeah.
So he obviously knows what he's doing, and coaching is another good one. I think somebody mentioned English commentating, and his English is very good, but I think the thicker accent. Yeah, the thicker accent would make it hard if he was speaking fast. Right. Having to speak quickly on high-paced action.
Yeah.
Stick with Spanish. It's I think in the Pro Box Juan Manuel Marquez, he's one of the stakeholders. I think he pokes in for commentary in Spanish from time to time.
Nice.
Fun fact, Paulie's Spanish is about as good as Jorge's English.
Fair enough. Well, isn't Malignaggi Italian?
Yes. I can't fucking stand him. I really can't. As a person, but I like his analysis. His boxing commentary is pretty good.
Yeah, his voice drives me nuts, to be honest.
A bit.
But
let's see. Speaking of being driven nuts, Oscar De La Hoya's fucking poster child, Alexis Rocha, gets stopped in 6 by Giovanni Santillan. Man, oh man, that was a beatdown from.
That was an ass kicking.
Pillar to post.
He didn't just lose; he got embarrassed.
Yes, absolutely embarrassed. What makes it, like I said, like this is Oscar's. This is like his welterweight. This is the guy that he's really pushing as the welterweight for Golden Boy, and he had nothing. Top Rank sent in like one of their like B-level guys and beat the shit out of Rocha. Not good.
No. Give Giovanni his credit. Like, he looked good.
He was awesome.
Yeah, he stunned Rocha instantly and just kept on him the whole time.
Right. Rocha felt the power in the first round, and after that, he didn't want any part of it. maybe Rocha should call up Castaño, learn some lessons on how to fucking dig deep. Poor Rocha. So Santillan, I honestly hadn't heard of him before this, and that's a mistake on my part. Definitely going to be paying attention now. They were talking about Santillan as being like another player now at the top level of the scene of welterweight. I'm not so sure if that's the case yet. I need to see a little more.
I think his last win, I might be wrong, but I think his last win before this one was a big upset as well. So he must have something, but I also hadn't seen him fight before.
Heavy ass hands is what he got. He does fit into like that B crop of guys. Trying to think, like Cody Crowley is one of them. That level of fighter. I'm trying to think of other names. Stanionis is a little bit in that world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want
Santillan versus Stanionis might be fun to watch.
Oh, that's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah, that's my favorite kind of fight.
Giovanni Santillan. He's the 4th rated welterweight in the world on BoxRec. So take that.
That seems a bit high.
Yeah, take that with a lot of salt. Mario Barrios would be fun, but I don't see that going well for Santillan. Josh Taylor, I forgot he moved up. Gross. Ugas should probably call it quits if he hasn't already.
Yeah, his eye is shot.
Well, Steve Spark of clothesline fame.
Oh, the Australian that Love threw out of the ring?
Yep, that's him.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
I'd like to take a quick second to remind you that Raz could have gone to this, but chose not to. For shame.
I would like to see him again, actually. I thought he was looking really good in that fight.
Yes, he was. Hold on a second. Connor Benn is back at whatever the fuck. Welterweight. So there's that. Steve Spark. He, after that clothesline, he was back on Canelo Ryder, where he dropped a split decision that I don't think he lost.
I'm sure I watched that, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a competitive fight. So Royman Villa still around. That's a good one. I might give Santillan the edge there.
Either way, I think he gets a couple more fights at the kind of higher up level and see what he does.
Adrian
Santillan.
Broner. He's still
God.
doing it. That's right.
Well, he fought not that long ago, didn't he?
He fought that lawyer in Florida.
God, I hate Broner.
It was a Bill Hutchinson. It was a Don King card.
Oh, yes.
That's the one where
I did watch it too, I think.
I thought it was entertaining. Not the fight itself, but the event as a whole, because just how fucking bad it was. Don King with his like 20-minute rant on eugenics.
Oh God.
Other things, legal things, religious things. The guy was all over the place. And then Broner had another can man speech. That was always fun. Those are always fun. So Adrian Broner, that is, as much as Broner is a clown, it would still be the kind of profile I think that Santillan would benefit from.
Yeah, people would watch it. And I think Santillan beats Broner.
Yeah, I
Although
would say so too.
Broner might just run the whole time, but
depends, because he doesn't always keep in the best of shape.
That's true.
So he might
I think
not be able to.
Santillan could catch him.
Yeah, he would. I don't really see anybody else mentioning. Okay, last thing from the 21st. Why do I have it 21st? UFC 294. That happened as well. A lot of crazy stuff going on. Johnny Walker, that was the co-main. He was hit with an illegal strike, which was he had a knee on the mat, and then his opponent kneed him in the head, which is illegal. And the doctor decided to pull the plug, despite Johnny Walker clearly having his wits about him. And it was not fun, not a good way to end it. They called it a no contest, despite whether or not it was unintentional. It was still a deliberate strike. That was a foul.
Sounds like a disqualification to me.
That's what I think. But like Nathan, the way that he explained it, or the way that he framed it, was looking at intention, because his opponent couldn't really see where his hands and knees were at, because of the way that they were positioned. So he didn't necessarily know that he was down.
Yeah, I don't watch a whole bunch of MMA, but the no knees to the head when you're down, but like
any other time is fine.
Happen. Yeah, this is gonna happen. You're not gonna realize that they're technically down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if you're gonna do that style of fighting, just remove most of the rules. I also don't understand the no 12-6 elbows either.
I don't know why that's a rule either, but I do know there's a Muay Thai fight that happened recently between two like juggernauts in the Muay Thai world, and one of the there was a 12-6 elbow that landed, and there was just blood everywhere the entire fight.
Yeah, but I mean that can happen with an elbow to
Any
the
other
forehead
way.
as well.
Yeah. Any other kind of elbow could do that. But Makhachev and Volkanovski, they had their rematch, and it was dynamite ending. It was crazy. So yeah, we recorded earlier today, so that'll be coming out soon. Check that out if you want to hear more about MMA. Previews are pretty light. On the 28th in Cancun, O'Shaquie Foster is back versus Eduardo Hernandez. This is the WBC 130 title. I'm not expecting a whole lot out of Hernandez. I can't really find him rated by any other sanctioning body. And so I think they're trying to build Foster's profile here.
Yeah, I've certainly never heard of Eduardo Hernandez. And I follow the lightweight classes. So.
Yeah, being a degenerate, I keep up with pretty much all of it for the sake of this outline, if nothing else. I think I stop at 112, though.
I like the minimum weights. They're a lot of fun.
For like those minimum weights or straw weights, or even atom weight below it, which is typically only for women. Nonetheless, like in the MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai circle, I do pay attention to those smaller weights, but not so much for boxing. I don't know why. There's really no reason to have that distinction.
There's more knockouts in MMA, I think.
Let's see, really quickly. This is a Star Boxing promotion. I'm not sure where it's going to be broadcasted. But this one's in Huntington, New York. Wendy Toussaint versus Jerome Jones. Wendy Toussaint, his most recent fight, he fought Adriel Holmes, who was a prospect I was previously keeping up with until this. Toussaint, I thought, was winning pretty handily, and the doctor called the fight, so they had to go to the cards as they were at that time, and it was very strangely awarded to Holmes. I don't think he deserved it. So there you go, Wendy Toussaint. Here he is. This is gonna be fun. In Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Queensberry Promotions brings you elite competition: Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. It's from top to bottom, it's all heavyweights. I tried to find as much like names and information as I could about these guys. I couldn't find it on very many of them, or a few of them I couldn't find, and some of them are pretty light anyway. So from the bottom up, McGann versus Duran. I couldn't even find their first names. Moses.
That's not a good sign.
It's not. I'm a pretty good sleuth too, so I couldn't find them. To me, that's telling. Moses Utalma versus Istvan Bernath. Arslanbek Makhmudov versus Junior Wright. I've heard of Arslanbek. Carlos Takam, the old standby, versus Martin Bakoli. of embarrassing Tony Yoka fame. Joseph Parker versus Simon Keane, Fabio Wardley versus David Adelaide, and then Tyson Fury versus Ngannou. Honestly, the Carlos Takam Martin Bakole fight is the one that interests me the most, other than the circus factor of the main event is.
Yeah, I can't remember who Martin Bakole is. I'm sure I've seen him, but I don't know which one he is.
He's from the Congo.
A picture up.
The Blue Flag Congo, Democratic Republic.
Oh yeah, I recognize his face.
I just remember him whipping Tony Yoka, but it was. It's a terrible analogy, but he was like a scared, beaten dog. He was whipping him, and like Yoka was just fucking scared the whole time. And then Yoka did that again against Carlos Takam. I like to.
It should be a good matchup then.
Yeah, it should be fun. The Yoka vanquishers. Joseph Parker. It's weird. Like, he's about my age, and he really does seem like he's getting old, despite being in the heavier weight classes where age isn't quite. It's not the same. The magnitude isn't as great as it is in the lower weight classes.
I think Joseph Parker has let things outside of the ring affect him more than a boxer should. Like, Joseph Parker seems like he's not training as hard, and he's just enjoying life too much to be at the top of heavyweight boxing anymore.
International importing and exporting seems to be doing really well for him.
Yeah, and I do follow him on Instagram because he was really funny during COVID. He would do these skits where he was all the people in a movie scene.
That's fun.
Anyway, yeah, they were really good. You should look them up, but it seems like he's not training by watching his Instagram, which I find is usually the first sign of somebody who just is on the down skid.
Yeah, he's not very interested anymore.
Yeah, like for this camp, he's put up like 3 pictures.
His first loss, quote unquote, was to AJ. Then he lost to Dillian White. Gross. Had a good win streak, then lost to Joe Joyce.
And then he lost to Joe Joyce. I enjoyed that fight. Joe Joyce beating Parker.
Yes. Trying to remember.
Before that, he had a fight during COVID in New Zealand, and he looked like shit in that fight, but I can't remember who he was fighting.
Alexander
Maybe
Flores.
Fa?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. That's incorrect. Junior Fa.
Fa, yeah. I knew it was like a 2-letter last name. He looked really bad in that fight, I thought. Parker did.
I don't think I saw it.
I'm pretty sure it was on DAZN during COVID. I saw all of them.
Well, I guess that would make sense because of the way New Zealand handled the pandemic in general. 2 Kiwis fighting makes sense.
Yeah, they were allowed to have a crowd and everything for that fight.
It was in February of 21, so by that point, New Zealand had handled their business properly.
Yeah.
That's it. Tyson Fury versus Ngannou. I'm really just hoping Ngannou knocks him clean out. Not just because I dislike him, but because the Usyk fight's already signed.
I would love it. I would love it so much if Ngannou walked in and just one-shotted him.
One can dream.
Yeah, I really don't see it happening, but...
Okay, let's
The ads for this are also pretty funny. The Fury and Ngannou.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
It doesn't show anything with boxing. It's 2 big guys that hit stuff hard.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what they're pitching it as, is just 2 big dudes about to clobber each other. Let's keep going. On Wednesday, November 1st, another Pro Box card. This is Jainison Figueroa versus Alberto Palmetta, 10-round welterweights. And this one caught my eye. Angelo Leo versus Aram Avagian. I think I got that. Those are Angelo Leo was one of like the top 122s before Fulton and Brandon Figueroa fought. Danny Roman and Angelo Leo. They're kind of in the same vein of Santillan. So Angelo Leo should put on an entertaining fight.
I didn't recognize his name, but I'll have to check it out. Like I said, ProBox has been impressing me.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's great. It's one of the better. Even if they're putting everything for free now, I still don't mind paying the subscription because at first it's not a lot. Second, if it helps them continue doing what they're doing, then absolutely. So there's that ProBox TV that's on Wednesday, November 1st, and then on the 4th, last thing we have on the docket, Joe Cordina versus, as they're saying it, Edward Vasquez. They're just determined to say these names wrong all the time. So Cordina is the champion at 130 with the IBF belt, and Vasquez is rated 9th. Typically not the level that somewhere between 1 to 5 is considered acceptable for mandatories as far as the IBF rules go. So I'm not sure. It's a weird one to pick as your voluntary.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Cordina, but his promotion has been suspect to me.
Yes, it has. Yeah, his career's not being handled properly. I think it's not being handled properly.
Like, I think Cordina's good. I think Cordina's very good, and I think he should be fighting very good people. I don't know why they're pulling these guys out of kind of the middle.
Let's see. So the other champions at 130, Navarrete is the WBO champion. Aforementioned O'Shaquie Foster is the WBC. IBF is Cordina. WBA is supposed to be Hector Garcia. I'm not sure if he's still fighting, though. He still hasn't fought since Davis. And that's almost a year ago.
I mean, people take that long off quite often, but...
And he did have an eye issue as well. I don't know if it was an orbital bone or detached retina. Both of them sound horrendous, so take your time. But, God. Oscar Valdez, not that Cordino's going to get a shot at him. Why is Lee Wood at 130 or listed at 130? Oh, well.
I think Cordina could fight any of those guys you listed and not look stupid, though.
No, not at all. He has solid one-shot fight-ending, fight-changing power, as demonstrated.
It's technically sound.
Yeah, he's not a bad boxer either, so he knows how to use his power effectively. Foster...
Yeah, against Ogawa, that was an awful knockout.
Yeah, that was...
Or great, I guess, depending how you look at it. But I like Ogawa, so...
Like, O'Shaquie Foster kind of lacks in the power department, but he's rangy and mobile. So I don't know if I've seen Cordina against somebody who can move that well.
No, I can't think. But I don't think he... How do I put this? I haven't seen it, but I think he could handle it.
Yeah.
But we don't know because they put him up against 9th-ranked Vasquez. The ads for the Cordina fight on DAZN are also really good. It's him all dressed up in a casino, walking around looking chic.
Well, yeah, that's right. It's going to be in Monte Carlo.
Yeah, and they're really playing it up in the ads. I like it. But now that I think about it, I don't think Vasquez is in the ad at all. It's just Joe Cordina walking through Monte Carlo Casino.
Edward Vasquez is on page 2 of BoxRec.
That's not good.
So as much as we can clown on BoxRec's rating methodology, still being on page 2 and you're fighting the champion, that's not a good look. It's not going to be a good night for anyone. Cordina versus Navarrete. I'm trying to think how that would go. Because Navarrete is swarming swarming volume pressure.
I think Navarrete gives Cordina a really hard night.
Yeah.
And Cordina might not be able to handle it. But again, we don't know because they don't match him against anyone good.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say that. They're good, but...
Not the other top guys in the division.
Yeah.
Yeah, the list of the elites is pretty short. Foster, Navarrete, Cordina, and I guess you could include Hector Garcia with an asterisk, but so we don't know how he's going to be. Chris Colbert. No, don't do that, Chris. Let's see here. I think that's it. That's all we got on the docket for this one. Unless you have anything Japanese local.
No, I didn't find any names I really know fighting in the next 2 weeks.
There is a guy named a Japanese fighter. His name is Masanori Rikishi. I used to watch wrestling as a kid, and Rikishi was a character. If you don't know who it is, just look up photos of what he looked like, and that'll give you a good idea.
I can imagine. I don't know it, but I'm pretty sure I know the style they would go with.
And so, let's get the housekeeping stuff. I mentioned Ultimate Fucking Casual is where we record MMA stuff. If you search it, Ultimate Effin', Hard Shell Tacos, that's a show I do with my cousin. We were both kind of like the oddities of our very traditionally Hispanic households. So, how are the weird kids doing? It's kind of what we're doing there. And Progressive Patriots, there's a domestic version that covers U.S. news, political news, obviously. Oh, I don't know if that's obvious or not. Whatever. And then the international one just got started. As far as that one goes, we haven't gotten to the Palestine-Israel situation yet. I really want to approach it as objectively as I can. I don't want to paint the wrong picture or give the wrong impression of what's what when I'm not that much of an expert myself. So there's those. Let's see. My favorite phrase is do the internet stuff, which is it really helps. It really, really helps interacting with social media posts, rating, reviewing the show, the episodes on whatever your podcast platform is. Either way, it's like I'm like the only one that comments on our stuff. So I usually just comment saying stuff like, "Oh, I bet the host he's a fucking stud cake or something." I don't know. I mean, nobody else is doing it, so I'm gonna do it.
If you gotta promote yourself, you gotta promote yourself.
That's absolutely right. So, speaking of a little bit of promotion of the self, our social media handles are LVX Media Net on everything. If you can't find it, I'm not on it. Contact options, go to lvxmedia.net and you'll see the B-sides. That's the first button, the very top one. You can hit that. If you go in, once you go in there, there's a phone number and an email address. The email address is whatever. You just hit the button and it'll fill it in for you. The phone number, you can call it and leave a voicemail. You can text it if you want. It's anonymous, unattended. I don't check it until I'm about to record a show so I don't check it very often. So if you want to comment on anything that was said, if there's something that you want to hear me talk about, feel free. I'm very interested in hearing your opinions, as monotone as I was. Okay, so...
You get very many voicemails?
No. Text messages, I've only been getting them for hard shell tacos, not for anything else.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I guess...
We haven't pissed off enough people on B-Sides Boxing.
I suppose we haven't. it's weird because like we really do take the entire expanded Lux Media network. Even like there's a boxing fan that's on Progressive Patriots, and the consensus is fuck Tyson Fury. Like everybody's saying it. So, I'm still waiting for the Tyson Fury fans to come for me. Parting words. So this is for you. If you want to plug anything or mention anything.
No, I don't really have anything to plug or mention, but it is right before Halloween, so everybody be careful on Halloween. Don't run over any small children, and don't drink too much.
Check your candy bars for razor blades. That happens all the time.
All the time. And don't hand out fruit. Fruit is not candy. And one thing I will plug, I used to buy small comic books to hand out to the kids with allergies. So having something that isn't food, a few of them is always nice for the kids who maybe don't generally get to participate in Halloween.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a good idea for like peanut allergies or whatever. That's a good one.
Yeah, our local comic book store sold packs of 100 of these, Halloween specific ones, and you usually got one that was for small children, one that was for kind of young children, and one that was more for teenagers that was actually a little spooky.
Ooh, that sounds pretty fun. I might look into that.
We became the comic book house for a few years in St. John's. Kids would run up and ask if we still had comics. It was great.
That's pretty cool. I had never heard of that. Anything for me? Parting words. Fuck Tyson Fury, as always. Check out my very terrible merch. That's kind of like the self-deprecation is the angle that I take. If you look on our social media pages, like the little moniker or tagline or whatever, or the motto, not moniker, but it's serving up the worst podcast you'll ever hear. I don't keep up with it much, but I used to do a lot of written material for the website, and that would be like the worst opinions you'll ever read. They're like, how our podcasts are the worst podcasts you'll ever hear? This is like that.
Yeah.
But it's written. Enjoy. That's gonna do it.
All right.
Thank you very much for joining me on what is my Sunday evening. And we will...
Yeah, thanks for inviting me back.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Of course. So, beloved listeners, thank you very much. We will see you in a couple of weeks.
Stay safe.
Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you have any questions or comments on what was discussed, or have a topic you'd like to hear on the podcast, you can leave a message on our unattended phone line at 833-589-7637. That's 833-LUX-PODS. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lvxentertainment.net.
Hello, if you made it this far, want to give you my thanks once again. The song taking us out today is Winter Fields by City Girl. If you want to hear more from City Girl, go to lvx.at/city.